The Pirates were able to get back in the win column, stay over 500, and hey, the bullpen actually had a good day at the office, recording 4 scoreless innings to back up Carmen Mlodzinski. They made a move earlier on Wednesday that I think needs a deeper examination, though, because even though they had a good day, it kind of smells a little bit like desperation at this moment. Good morning and welcome to OffBeat here on North Shore 9 presented by FanDuel. My name is Alex Stumpf and this is a daily look at your Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates took care of business on Wednesday. Went into St. Louis, beat the Cardinals handily 7-0, and the bullpen was a big part of the reason why. Carmen Mlodzinski was able to throw 5 scoreless innings, always had the pitch count kind of up. Maybe not his absolute sharpest, but you know what? He got through it. All told, you take 5 scoreless innings from your starter. And he handed off to the bullpen. Yohan Ramirez dances through the raindrops a little bit. It would be a very different game. Pirates are up 3-0 at the time. Yohan Ramirez was down 3-0 in the count with the bases loaded and 1 out. Was able to escape the inning without any damage. That's one of those high run expectancy moments right there. And if the Cardinals had gotten a hit or put one in the gap, it could be a very, very different ball game. It didn't. Pirates will take a break. Everyone knows they need one. After that, Evan Sisk to Justin Lawrence to Dennis Santana. Pirates get the win. Not in that mix, and someone that you usually see whenever you're in that fringe spot in the middle relief and you're trying to either protect a lead or cross the finish line with a sizable lead, is Isaac Mattson. That's because he was optioned to AAA Indianapolis before the day, and the Pirates recalled Wilber Dotel. Now, I've talked about Dotel here before, and I'm high on the kid. I see good stuff in his game, and that could be out of the bullpen or out of the rotation. Obviously, right now, there is a need for the bullpen, and the Pirates called him up. I think the fastball plays out of the bullpen, and if he does get a legitimate shot as a starter in the not-so-distant future, I like the splitter. I like the way his slider, the cutter, there's some movement that he works with. I know not the first time I've said it on this show, I get Luis Ortiz vibes from his pitch mix. So right now, there's more of a need for the bullpen. He's going to get that opportunity. It wasn't the first type of these moves, though, that we've seen this month, because earlier this month, the Pirates selected the contract of Chris Devenski, someone who is a veteran, who has some level of major league success, maybe not the best results in AAA, but he had an upward mobility clause in his contract. The Pirates are in a spot like, we need middle relief. Can't really let this guy walk. We'll add him to the roster. And then last homestand, they promote Brandan Bidois, their top reliever prospect, their minor league reliever of the year in 2025. Someone who also wasn't off to a great start in Indianapolis, but unquestionably the best reliever prospect who was healthy, got caught up. See what he can do. And now they're doing the same for Wilber Dotel, someone who has a pedigree as a starter, who I think could be a starter long term. But they need help in the bullpen. They're going to throw him in there. This really starts after a while feeling like just throwing stuff up against the wall and seeing what sticks. Just hoping that something could help stabilize this bullpen. And Isaac Mattson drew the short straw right now. Don Kelly said to St. Louis reporters, I'm going to quote Colin Beasley of the Post-Gazette here, that they just had some things to sort out with Isaac Mattson. And Mattson was one of the few relievers who was struggling right now who could be optioned to the minors. It's why it wasn't like a Justin Lawrence being DFA'd, because there is so much hope for Justin Lawrence coming into the year. I had a lot of people say, like, yeah, we think he could be pitching the 8th, 9th inning at some point. So not they don't want to give up on him yet. Want to create the opportunity for Wilber Dotel. Actually, the opportunity is already there. They're just trying to get their best possible pitchers, their best possible arms that they could up in the bullpen right now. Mattson draws the short straw. And you know what? Maybe Mattson sorts some things out. I am sure we are going to see him back up at the major leagues at some point. He had too good of a year last year. This bullpen has been too big of a mess for them just to give up on him completely right now. I didn't get that vibe. So, no Mattson, but they do have a converted starter trying to pitch out of the bullpen. They do have a prospect who maybe isn't 100% major league ready, but you know what? The opportunity's there right now, and you got to just throw him in there. Devenski's on the IL right now, but it just kind of seems like a team that's searching for moves, is searching for the answer to how to fix this bullpen. And I don't know if it can be done in May. It's one thing to option Isaac Mattson now, or under more normal circumstances, you probably try to have him sort things out in the major leagues. You could have one or two guys in the bullpen just trying to sort stuff out, and you go to them after whenever the game's out of reach, or you really like the matchup, lower leverage spots, try to get stuff through, kind of like what we saw down at Santana in the 9th on Wednesday. This bullpen is like 5 guys who are going through stuff right now. We can't rely on that whenever over half the bullpen is struggling or in a slump. So the Pirates are just going to throw stuff up against the wall. And they're at a portion of the season where it's mostly internal options only to improve. Now, there could be some short-term external additions they can make. We're going to talk about those in a little bit.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack hydration sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way for you to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. The Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. My personal favorites so far have been the almond butter chip and the iced tea lemonade hydration mix. It's just really full of flavor. I love starting my day with it, and I couldn't imagine starting my day with anything else other than IQ Bar products. Right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text MLB to 64,000. That's MLB 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
This is a interesting portion of the season, like this mid-May to early June, because a lot of minor league free agents end up signing contracts with upward mobility clauses or opt-outs, especially if you've been a veteran and you've got a couple years of service time in the majors. And we're seeing stuff like that. We're seeing some guys elect free agency after being DFA'd. If the Pirates so chose, there are a couple options out there right now. Matt Bowman was having a pretty good AAA season with the Twins' top affiliate. He elected free agency this week. Joe Ross, veteran pitcher, he just elected free agency. Peter Strzelecki just elected free agency. Now, nobody there is the answer. Strzelecki was someone who was with the organization last year, in case that name sounded familiar. He was with the organization last year, got released. Joe Ross has struggled the last couple years. Matt Bowman is someone who pitched for 3 different teams in 2024 and then just a handful of games in the majors in 2025 with not great results. Honestly, these are pitchers who are kind of in that Chris Devenski mold right now. Like Devenski had the upward mobility clause. The Pirates ended up keeping him. Not saying that you can't try again with a player of that ilk, but I don't think there's a real answer here. This is a team that would settle for just some quality middle relief at the moment. And I don't know if there's anything externally. And you could say, well, force a trade, make something happen. This isn't a one reliever is going to fix this problem. You can't really make, trade deadline style trades in May. I would be more inclined to hear about it if the Pirates didn't have any catchers. If like all their catchers got hurt and they're playing two guys who are just absolutely not major league quality, then I think that's a very different conversation where it's like you force a trade in May. You can't really do that for the bullpen, even if it is a position that's going to be readily available come the July and August deadline. Like it's just an apples and oranges situation. There is no one guy who is going to fix this bullpen problem. This is something that is going to require multiple relievers stepping up. And right now, they're in a portion of the season where they have to look internally. They have to hope that some people figure some stuff out. And I don't know how much they can add externally right now. Maybe they sign one of these available free agents and just bring in a new face and hope that does something for them. Maybe it does. Maybe they do. But that's not going to bridge the gap that they need. Carmen Mlodzinski wasn't his sharpest, but was still able to go 5 scoreless innings. A lot of times you hand that ball off to the bullpen and you feel fine with that. And Yohan Ramirez barely escaped a disaster that I think if that snowball started rolling on Wednesday, I don't know who you can really go to make it stop. Don Kelly is not in a position that he could be really aggressive and bring in like a Gregory Soto in the 6th or 7th inning, which is kind of what I thought he was going to be whenever he originally signed with the Pirates. One of their top leverage arms, have him go to the top moment. Can't really afford to use your best reliever in the 6th or 7th inning whenever you don't have anyone who's in a good spot to land the plane from there. So it's a spot the Pirates are in where they're just hoping something sticks. And maybe Wilber Dotel can be part of that equation. Pirates can afford to have a starting pitcher like him pitch in a more long relief, middle relief type role because Jared Jones is close to returning. They can, I don't want to say sacrifice starter depth, but they can transition it to the bullpen right now. Anyone who could get outs in the bullpen, they have to seriously consider that as those options right now. Because this is a bullpen that has been a mess, that has too many people who are trying to get back in sync. And right now, it really feels like a kind of throwing off their back foot, trying to find quality relievers. Like, I've kind of liked what I've seen from Bidois. I really like Dotel. I don't know if either one of them was supposed to be up here in the bullpen on May 20th. I don't think either one of them was. And I don't know how much they're going to be able to help stabilize things right now. but the Pirates are in a position that they have to just try. And I don't know how many of those type of moves they have left internally. I think right now they're in a spot where they've kind of exhausted almost all their options outside of if they want to go to like an Antoine Kelly or something like that. Or whenever Jared Jones comes back, the great debate of what happens between him and Carmen Mlodzinski or Bubba Chandler or whatever. Like, what is there a bullpen option for one of those guys? Probably not Bubba. There's a lot to still see. Pirates need quality middle relief and leverage arms. See if Dotel can be part of the former. Thank you so much for listening to Offbeat here on North Shore 9 presented by FanDuel. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe wherever you find a fine podcast or check us out on YouTube to see my smiling face. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk again tomorrow.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.